morning, children. This is continuation of your third chapter, chapter 3, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. Now, how Hitler rose to power. He was born in 1889 in Austria. Now, socio-economic and political condition of Germany that time was so bad that Hitler rose to power. Now, after Versailles Treaty, he joined the German Workers' Party in 1919, and that was renamed as National Socialist German Workers' Party. Now, after that, it was known as Nazi Party. Now, after that, he planned to seize control of Bavaria. He marched to Berlin and captured power. He was arrested, tried for treason, and then released again. After 1929, all banks collapsed, business shut down, people lost their job. So Nazi propaganda gave hopes of a better future among the people. In 1928, Nazi party got only 2.6% votes in the election, and by 1932, it had become the largest party with 37% votes. Now, what promises he made? What promises he made? He made that he promised to build a strong nation. He promised employment to everybody. He promised to weed out all foreign influences. Now, what all the developments took place? The red banners with the swastika, the Nazi salute, the ritualized rounds of applause after every speech. That was the development of at the time of Hitler. Now, democracy was destructed completely. On 30th January 1933, President Hindenburg offered the chancellorship to Hitler. It was the highest position in the cabinet of ministers after gaining power. Then how he eliminated the communists? A mysterious fire that broke out in the German parliament building in February facilitated his move in removing the democratic structure in Germany. Hitler indefinitely suspended civic rights like freedom of speech, press and assembly by the fire decree of 28th February 1932. Communists were the arch enemies of Hitler. After suspension of civic rights, Hitler turned on the communists. Most of them were sent to the newly established concentration camps. On 3rd March 1933, the famous Enabling Act was passed, which gave Hitler all the power to sideline parliament and rule by decree. This act established dictatorship in Germany. All political parties and trade unions, except the Nazi party and its affiliates, were banned. After gaining extra constitutional power of the newly organized forces gave the Nazi state its reputation as the most dreaded criminal state. People were detained in Gestapo torture chambers, rounded up and sent to concentration camps. Now, economic reconstruction. Hitler gave the responsibility of economic recovery to the economist Islar Sachet. He wanted full production and full employment through a state-funded work creation program. As a result, the famous German superhighways and the People's Car, the Volkswagen, were made. Now, success in foreign policies. In foreign policy, Hitler acquired quick successes. Hitler pulled out the League of Nations in 1933 and reoccupied the Rhineland in 1936. In 1938, under one slogan, one people, one empire and one leader, the German-speaking Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia and then took over the whole country. In all this, Hitler had the unspoken support of England, which had considered the Versailles verdict too harsh. Now, Second World War. Hitler chose war as the way out of the approaching economic crisis. In September 1939, Germany invaded Poland and this started a war with France and England. When Japan extended its support to Hitler and bombed the US base at Pearl Harbor, the US entered the Second World War. The Second World War ended in May 1945 with Hitler's defeat. Japan surrendered in August 1945, after the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now the Nazi worldview. The crimes committed by the Nazis were the result of a system of belief and a set of practices. Nazi ideology was synonymous with Hitler's worldview. Now Hitler's racism was borrowed from the idea of Charles Darwin and Herbert Spencer. Darwin tried to explain the creation of plants and animals through the concept of evolution and natural selection, and Herbert added the idea of survival of the fittest. According to this idea, only those species survived on Earth that could adapt themselves to changing climatic conditions. Now the other aspect of Hitler's ideology is related to the geopolitical concept of Lebensraum or living space. He believed that new territories had to be acquired for settlement, and to increase the area of the mother country, Nazis wanted only a society of pure and healthy Nordic Aryans. They alone were considered as desirable, while other communities were classified as undesirable. Jews, Gypsies and blacks living in Nazi Germany were considered as racial inferiors who threatened the biological purity of the superior Aryan race. Then youth in Nazi Germany, Hitler believed that a strong Nazi society could be established by teaching children Nazi ideology. Undesirable children and teachers, Jews, the physically handicapped and Gypsies were thrown out of schools. The school textbooks were rewritten. Germans and Jews could not sit and play together. Racial science was introduced to justify Nazi idea of race. Now youth organizations they formed, and youth organizations were made responsible for educating German youth in the spirit of National Socialism. 10-year-old child had to join Jungvolk. At 14, all boys had to join Nazi youth organization, Hitler Youth. After a period of rigorous ideological and physical training, they joined the labor service at the age of 18. Then they had to serve the armed forces and entered one of the Nazi organization. In 1922, the Youth League of the Nazis were founded. After 4 years, it was renamed as Hitler Youth. The Nazi cult of motherhood, the Nazi Germany. In Nazi Germany, young people and even children were repeatedly told that women were radically different from men. According to the Nazi ideology, the fight for equal rights for men and women was wrong, and it would destroy society. Women had to maintain the purity of the race, look after the home, and teach their children Nazi ideology. Those mothers who produced racially desirable children were awarded, given favored treatment in hospitals, concession in shops, theatres and even in the railways. Honours of bronze was given for cross for 4 children, a silver for 6 and gold for 8 or more was given to eligible women. The Nazi regime used language and the media effective to describe their activities. They never used the word kill or murder in their official communication, but used euphemisms. Mass killing were called special treatment. Final solution for the Jews, euthanasia, selection and disinfection. Evacuation meant deporting people to gas chambers for killing them. The gas chambers were called disinfection areas. Now, how was the propaganda? Media was carefully used to win support for the regime, popularize its worldview. Nazi ideas were spread through visual images, films, radios, posters, catchy slogans and leaflets. Their movement were compared to those of the rodents. The most infamous film was The Eternal Jew. Jews were referred to as vermin, rats, and pests. Ordinary people and the crimes against humanity. Many ordinary people genuinely believed Nazism would bring prosperity and improve general well-being. Some Germans organized active resistance to Nazism, suffering police repression and even death. But most Germans were passive onlookers and apathetic witnesses, as they were too scared to act, to defy or to protect. But for the Jews, life was altogether different. Charlotte Brandt, an author, in her book The Third Reich of Dreams, wrote that Jews themselves began believing in the Nazi stereotypes about them. Now, the stereotypical images published in the Nazi press haunted the Jews, and they troubled even in their dreams. They died many deaths before they reached the gas chambers. Now, some of the horrible practices followed by Nazis had trickled out of Germany during the war, but its full extent was known only when the war extended. The atrocities and sufferings that Jews had experienced during the Nazi killing operations are called Holocaust. The spirit to bear witness and to preserve documents can be seen in many ghetto and camp inhabitants who wrote diaries, kept notebooks, and created archives. In contrast, the Nazi leadership distributed petrol to its followers to destroy all incriminating evidences when they started losing the war. So these memoirs by the victims are a tribute to those who resisted the persecution, a reminder to those who collaborated, and a warning to those who watched in silence. This is the end of your chapter. I'll give you the timeline, and you must go through the chapter properly, and next class I'll give you tell you which question answers you'll have to do, or I can give some answers questions also with this video.